Monday, our team from the NFL Today and NFL Today Plus is out in Green Bay for the season opener for the Lions and Packers. And all eyes, of course, are on Micah Parsons and his back injury. Whether or not he'll even play, Tracy Wolfson has the latest from Green Bay.
Well, we all know the big storyline here in Green Bay, the arrival of Micah Parsons. Will he or won't he play? How much will he play? I can tell you he will play in some limited fashion. How many snaps remains to be seen. We were told that decision is made by the Packers Performance Group. Now, we know that Parsons is dealing with some sort of back injury. He has not played in 6 months. It's a long season, and they do have a short week because they have a game on Thursday. Micah Parsons telling us he knows the defense. He's ready to get out there, but he also respects the decision that the Performance Group comes up with. Now, I talked to Micah Parsons. He was wreaking havoc at practice, watching him out there on Friday, and I can tell you he said he feels so comfortable already in Green Bay, chatting it up with his teammates. He said this town is all about ball. As for the Detroit Lions, they get their pass rusher back, Aiden Hutchinson, back from that broken leg. He said he's 100% healthy, and he is just raring and ready to go and get back out there to play. He did not play in the preseason at all, but he did wreak havoc throughout the preseason in camp. So he's ready to get back out there. The Detroit Lions, 2 new coordinators. Ben Johnson went to Chicago. Aaron Glenn left for the Jets. John Morton takes over on the offensive side. Kelvin Shepard calling plays on the defensive side for the first time. And then another big question mark is the inside of that interior offensive line. 2 new guards and a new center when it comes to Graham Glasgow. Frank Ragnow retired, so certainly something to watch. And one injury to report on the Green Bay Packers side. Cornerback Nate Hobbs still dealing with that knee injury. How much or if he will play remains to be seen.
40% of his passes, just 2.5 yards per attempt. That is far below what he did against other teams, completing 55% of his third down passes and averaging over 6.5 yards per attempt. RC, and now, of course, the Lions have Aiden Hutchinson back.
Yeah.
That defense was so banged up. Right now, they're healthy. So what's the key for this Packers offense?
I mean, last year, when you think about the way the season ended for the Detroit Lions, me and Marcus were out there. And I saw Marcus tweet the other day when somebody told him, can you come back? He was like, hell, you trying to give up 80. And, you know, and so now you think about the Detroit Lions being healthy and also struggling a little bit with health in the room of the wide receivers of the Green Bay Packers. And so if I'm Green Bay, if I'm Matt LaFleur, I'm going to lean on that creative run game with Josh Jacobs. And now Ken Matthew Golden, who when drafted seemed like he'd be a luxury, he'd get an opportunity to come along as the season went on, he's going to have to show up. So I'm starting with Josh Jacobs. I'm starting with physicality, creativity, finding a way to get him loose. And then I want to move Jordan Love into the play action game. We sometimes forget how athletic Jordan Love is. Let's move the spot. Let's push the football down the field and really test this new defensive coordinator, Kelvin Shepard of the Detroit Lions, and see what adjustments he can make if we start making explosive plays as an offense.
RC, I love that point. I think for Green Bay, too, one of the big things I remember from last year is that they played behind so much in the second half. I want to see them get off the early starts and jump it. Bunzy, our researcher, sent me. They trailed half the season, 8 games last year. They trailed at halftime and ended up going 3-5 in those games. And we think about some of the prolific plays that Jordan Love had to make, but it was a necessity because they didn't get off the fast starts. That's a healthy mix of Jordan. That's a healthy mix of Jordan Love not only taking care of the football, but being able to be explosive downfield with these receivers that they'll have in tow. And obviously Josh Jacobs in the backfield being that battering ram and making explosive plays as well. But this team needs to start fast. And why wouldn't you? With acquiring Micah Parsons and Rashawn Gary, if you play with a lead, you are going to have a lot of really good Sundays in Green Bay.
The big question, of course, on this game is Micah Parsons going to be ready to play? And Adam Schefter, moments ago with this, Packers are listing Micah Parsons as questionable for Sunday's game against the Lions due to his back injury. All right, and finally, we are divided on our picks. Those of us here in Bristol, holding down the fort here in Bristol, we're on the Lions, and y'all two at home are on the Packers, Swagoo.
Here's the thing about this, right? I don't know who the hell is going to win, Hannah. You know why? Because it's week 1. And both of these teams are really good. And Micah Parsons could play 70 snaps. Micah Parsons could play 27 snaps. He could play no snaps. We don't know. So we just picking teams based on ghosts and the spirits of the Christmas past.
By the way, remember at the end of last season, Swagoo wasn't even picking scores?
Yeah. He would be like, because they going to win.
Yeah, he'd be like, remember that? He'd be like, Green Bay by a lot.
Hey, tell you what, it's early. It's early. We'll get there at some point.
Lions have won 8 straight divisional games lost. Justin Herbert tonight.
I'm going under. I'm apprehensive about the Chargers offense for reasons we'll get to at the end. I also think it's likely that Herbert might actually run one in the end zone, so that would limit passing touchdown opportunities. I think they're going to give Omari and the Hampton the rock a great deal as well, especially when they get into the red area.
All right, Marcus. Ryan. RC.
I'm back.
Ryan.
Yes, ma'am.
Travis. Kelsey. Back for another season. Over under 5.5 receptions for him.
You know what? I'm going to go over. And the reason I'm going over is because I believe they'll utilize him in short yardage. They'll utilize him on third down. Now, he might not stretch the field. This might not be a game where Travis Kelsey has 80 yards receiving, but I do believe that they'll put the football in his hands and make sure he's involved in the offense to keep people underneath occupied, to hit Xavier Worthy and Hollywood Brown at the second level.
All right, RC, let's stick with you, and let's talk a little the guy throwing in the football, Patrick Mahomes. What do you think? Over, under 244.5 passing yards for him?
Listen, I'm going over. Patrick Mahomes did not go to Brazil to not go to Brazil. And what I mean by that is he's there to make plays. You could see in the preseason there was an emphasis on pushing the football down the field. They scored 17 points on 3 drives against the Chicago Bears. And talking to Xavier Worthy, this team says they is tired of the disrespect, and we try to put everybody over Patrick Mahomes, and he's going to show us tonight that he's still a man.
All right. Going scorched earth there. I love it, RC. Okay. By the way, you put all this together, y'all's predictions, and a $10 bet wins you just over $55. Love it. Good luck, everybody. Right now, new customers for ESPN Bet can get $100 in bonus bets when you make your first $10 bet. Score more from the game with the Sportsbook for sports fans. Sign up with promo code LIVE to get started today. Now that we have some actual games to talk about again, we're going to turn to one of our favorite games, and that is Locks and Keys. We're going to break down Sunday's big games with something we guarantee will happen. That's a lock. Also something that will play a big role in determining the outcome. That's a key. And we're going to start in L.A. The Rams hosting the Texans on Sunday. Mina, give me a lock for this game.
I got Kobe Turner, the Rams defensive tackle, getting a sack. So the Texans changed their offensive line. I'm not sure it got better, though, particularly looking at the players that they added on the interior from Seattle and Minnesota. And Kobe Turner, for all the talk about Jared Verse, and he was incredible last year, Kobe Turner is like one of the most underrated defensive tackles in the NFL. He just gets to the quarterback, and I think he's going to have opportunities to do so in this one against this remade Texans offensive line.
Boy, let's hope that offensive line is better. Okay, RC, what do you think will be the key in this one?
Bro, it's like me and Mina just had the same phone call. It's going to be protecting C.J. Stroud. Last year, we saw C.J. Stroud take a step back, but it wasn't because the youngster couldn't play or he didn't understand the offense. It's because he was constantly under siege. And when you play in a defensive line like the Los Angeles Rams that can absolutely get after the quarterback, it's going to be paramount to keep their third-year quarterback upright.
And once again, ladies and gentlemen, you can just get that gong out because for the picks, we are all on the Texans. Which,
I'm actually shocked.
I'm surprised. I knew
I didn't think it was going to go this way.
I'm actually shocked. And I have on Rams colors, and that is disrespectful of me.
I mean, I think that defense only holds up to 14 points. Yes, Swaggo.
Y'all know what I was thinking? I was thinking about Matthew Stafford and not getting a lot of reps this offseason. That played into my thought process.
And that's not play. And that's not play around. Like the Texans' defense isn't overall better than the Rams are on the defensive side of the ball as well.
Yeah, Mina had him number 2. I listen to Mina. All right, now to Tampa Bay.
Defense gets after it.
Yeah. The Bucs are looking for their 5th straight division title. How about that? They host the NFC South rival, the Falcons. RC, what is a lock to happen in this one?
For me, Bucky Irving